What is up? Welcome back to the Tomahawk Talk podcast. Very special interview today. We've got Brandon Gaudin on. Some of you may know him as the voice of the Braves. Some of you may know him as the voice of Madden. I just think he's a spectacular announcer. But in all seriousness, I'll have the fellas joining me with him here shortly. But Brandon's now a two-time guest coming on here. We really appreciate him coming on and really hope you enjoy this interview. So without further ado, here is the interview with Brandon Gaudin. All right, we're here with Brandon. Brandon, I want to say first off, I still have the lightsaber. I know you said that last podcast that you were on that I had the lightsaber. But, man, how's everything been going? We're really, really excited for 2026.
Jeb, it warms my heart to know that you have that lightsaber. I feel like that was the piece of information I needed right now to get me past Kyle Tucker's signing for $300 billion to be with the Dodgers. Guys, I'm good. It's good to be back with you. Off season, I was texting with Ben Ingram, and I actually randomly, Ben lives close to me, and I ran into him yesterday, and we were talking about how weird it is to have the Braves season and then the off season, because it's like we lead two separate lives, and I know you guys as diehard Braves fans maybe feel that too. But those months where you're locked in with the Braves every night and so invested in the team, and then when the season ends, at least for us, it just all kind of comes to a grinding halt. And I work college basketball and all of that, but it's almost, I just feel like I lead these two totally separate lives. So it's good to get back into talking Braves and talking baseball, because after that calendar flips, now my fourth year coming up doing the Braves, I start to get that itch. I'm sure you guys do too.
Oh, yeah.
And so when January hits and you put away the Christmas tree and you take the gifts back that you didn't like and all that, and now I'm like, okay, pitchers and catchers are going to be reporting here in less than a month, and you can start to feel that baseball is coming. So long-winded way of saying that I'm doing well and I'm ready to have baseball back, and I hope you guys are doing well also.
Absolutely. Like you said, we cannot wait. We've got that itch too. Alex has went out and he has fulfilled some of the needs that have been needed, pretty much, to say it in the least. I've got a two-part question. So one, talk to us kind of about last year. I mean, we know it was a grind. And then two, just kind of seeing him go out this offseason and get what he needs to get done and get it done early.
Yeah, first about last season. So what's interesting for me is first year on the job, the Braves went over 100 games, right? And everything was easy, and it felt like they scored 10 runs a night. And I was told by my peers, obviously that's not sustainable. Not every year as a broadcaster is going to be like that. But I feel like I've experienced the three different levels. Year two was good, not great, but good, right? You get into the playoffs but didn't meet expectations of the fan base, but you still won more than you lost, got back into the postseason, right? And then this last year, obviously with all the injuries, far below expectations, missed the playoffs, and we're pretty much out of the race with a couple months to go. So I feel like I don't want to say selfishly, because I want the Braves to win 100 every year, but there is a part of me that appreciates that I have been able to kind of see all three levels of a Major League Baseball season from the chair that I sit in. And people asked a lot last year, was it harder than doing the Braves 2 years ago when they won 100 games? And I would say this, to me, I treat each individual game like its own season. I mean, obviously I carry storylines throughout. Why is my dryer going off 300 times? I'm sorry if you hear that. But I treat each individual game like its own little season. And so I know it's my job, regardless of whether the team is 20 games over 500 or under, to bring the energy and excitement for the fan base. And there's always a lot to talk about, regardless of whether the team is winning or losing. Obviously, it's more exciting if they're winning, but I'm thankful that I got to learn kind of how to handle and maneuver each of those 3 seasons. And having CJ by my side for the last 2 also made it easy because he's just so phenomenal and always so prepped. And then the offseason, guys, and I'd want to hear your thoughts. I know you post a lot on social about it, but yeah, I mean, I'm thrilled. You look at what the bullpen now is for. I think we'll miss a little bit Pierce Johnson. I love Pierce as both a person and a player. But obviously adding Suarez, getting Iggy back. I think Kenley is one of the bigger arms that we were able to keep that probably won't be talked about much. But I think Tyler Kenley is a really legit, great bullpen arm for the Atlanta Braves. And that I was really happy to see that the Braves got that done. And then obviously you get Ha-Seong Kim, Yastrzemski and Dubon. I feel like those are good depth pieces to have. And the question everybody's asking now is, okay, are we going to get one more starting pitcher? I don't have any insight on that. Would I like another starting pitcher? Yes. And I know that a lot of people thought, oh, maybe Ranger Suarez, he's off the table now. So your options are limited. There aren't as many free agents left out there, but there are a few. And I do think given the Braves' injury woes last year and just the trend of arm injuries among starting pitchers, it would be nice to have an insurance policy of one more proven arm. And I'm sure you guys probably agree with that as well.
I'm leaning Bassett. I think it should be Bassett.
I mean, either way you go, like we were talking about, baseball seasons are so unpredictable, man. And now we're seeing, like, for example, the Dodgers, who we just mentioned, they're going all in. They won the World Series in back-to-back seasons, and they're showing that they're not being complacent at all. They're putting all the chips on the table and trying to win right now. So going all in just like they are, I feel like that's also a very good move. Adding another starting pitcher, like you were saying, Brandon, it would be great to have.
Yeah, I think most people agree Framber Valdez is probably, by most people's estimations, the best available based on resume and past. But I kind of like Bassett too. I've also seen Bassett pitch very well against the Braves. And there are a couple others out. Zach Gallen, he really struggled last year, so I think people have kind of pulled away from him a little bit and what can he be in the future. But certainly he's had success at the major league level. But Bassett is intriguing, and I think he could fit well. I will say this, though. If the Braves don't get a starting pitcher, I don't think it's a disaster by any means. I just think that your level of concern is a little bit higher going into the season. But the cupboard is not bare, right? As long as the Braves don't have 3 injuries or that are really major injuries, you're going to have bumps and bruises and guys go on the 15-day at some point. I still think they should be fine, but I would love to see that other, solid as a rock starter that can fit into the middle or back into the rotation and make you feel really good come opening day. And we'll see. I have not talked to Alex Anthopoulos in a couple of months, but I am sure that he is on the phone. Like the people that just think he's, maybe on a beach. This guy works as hard as anybody. I have seen it up close, and he is very passionate about this, and I think he's darn good at his job. So I know he's working on it, and we'll see here over the next few weeks what transpires.
Is he how he, like if you've ever listened to him on the radio, he's always sounding like he's in a rush and he's got stuff to do. Is he always like that, or does he ever just kind of sit back and, watch the game or not saying he doesn't care about talking to people, but just enjoy conversations?
No, I think he does, and he is an absolute sports nut outside of baseball too. He's kind of a sports nerd in a good way, and he just he eats, sleeps, and breathes kind of the operations, the business side of baseball, which obviously is what you want from someone in that position. I remember a year ago at this time, my stupid dryer buzzer's about to go off again. This thing's going to drive me crazy. So when last year at this time, I met with Alex, just off-season catch-up. We went to Starbucks and chatted for a couple hours. And he was kind of in the – can you hear that, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll put it in the title. We'll say featuring Brandon's dryer.
So real quick detour, my condo flooded and I'm in temporary housing, so I don't know the cadence of the dryer here. And so the dryer at my place, when it buzzes once, it's done. It's like, hey, I'm good, your clothes are ready, you come here when you want to get them. This thing in the microwave, if it goes off, 10 seconds later it does. I'm like, I got you. I'm here. Thank you. I don't need another warning. So I'm learning my space. That's why I've got this fake background, because if you guys could see what was behind me, you would say, oh, well, he belongs in a mental institution, which maybe I do, but I'm not in one now.
That's a nice way of saying you share a condo with Ben.
Oh, come
All right,
on,
so you be nice.
He's a new father. Give him a break, all right? Jeez.
I'm just messing.
I mean, Ben's not even here, and he's catching strays, man.
Yeah, you can't have people catching strays when they're not present, Jeb. I got to go with these guys on that.
With a newborn in his hands, man. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Congratulations, by the way, Ben. I'm not a father, but I've heard it can be a little testy at times, so good luck with that.
All
right.
Speaking of which, Ben, I'm not sure if you've seen Ben. He's our other co-host. He actually just became a father. So shout out to Ben. But
that's what we were just talking about, bud.
I meant Weaver.
That's what we were talking about.
Oh!
I was no.
Jeb, why don't you sit the next play out? And we'll try to get you back in there on third down.
Holy cow!
I thought you were talking about Ingram.
No, man.
Ben Ingram is not a father. I can imagine that.
That's
well.
I was.
I don't think Ben Ingram's a father. No, but that's funny. That's funny. All right, wait. Let's get back on track here. I did have a point about Alex Anthopoulos. So when I met with him, and he's just been tremendous to me over my 3 years. When I met with him last offseason at Starbucks, you asked about what is he like. In those 2 hours, I really got an insight into him just as a person, just talking like you and I are talking now. And, you know, in a previous life, I called games. I went to Butler, and I called games for Butler when their head coach was Brad Stevens, who, of course, went on to be the head coach of the Boston Celtics and now is their general manager. And I found out through talking to Alex about that he loves the NBA too, and that he loves the NFL. He likes the business side of sports. He just loves it all. And so there's really no turning that off for him. I will say, you asked about, can he just kind of talk slower and run? He can, and he's just an incredibly charismatic, easygoing, fun guy. And I will say this too, he's very humble. Like, for the position that he's in, he does not think he's better than anybody. He'll talk to anybody. He's very kind to everybody in the organization. So, I've had nothing but positive impressions and interactions with Alex. But I see what you mean. He just kind of carries that constant energy and baseball talk, and I got to go, and I got a phone call, and that's the general manager in him, and I don't think that that's going to change.
Good.
We need that.
I'll punt on this one. I'll go to Ryan.
All right, BG, I'm going to switch gears on you because you mentioned Starbucks. What's your Starbucks go-to?
I don't drink coffee.
What?
Yeah.
No.
You guys, so 2 years ago when we were playing the Cubs, I told this story on air. We were out after an afternoon game. A group of us went to the Steakhouse Gibson's there, and I was just kind of a tag-along, and there were about, 12 of us. It's 9 o'clock at night, late reservation, so we eat, and all the guys order espresso martinis. And a couple of them knew that I didn't ever drink caffeine. It has nothing to do with a religious thing or anything. I just graduated college, told myself, hey, if you can go without the need for caffeine, do it. And I just always was able to survive without it, so I never had it. So anyways, we're at dinner. Dinner happens. They start ordering espresso martinis, and everyone finds out that I don't drink caffeine or coffee. And then the pressure comes on. All right, Brandon, you got to have an espresso. Great, fine. I'll have an espresso martini. Bring it over. So I drink this thing. Laundry's going to go off again. I drink this thing, and it doesn't feel like anything. Tasted good. I was like, oh, it's great. I'm fine. So now it's 11 o'clock. We're going back to the hotel. We say our goodbyes. I go up to the room. I brush my teeth. I'm like, caffeine, nothing. So I lay down. I put my phone on the charger. I close my eyes, and right then, and I'm not exaggerating, it was right then that all of a sudden my heart started to go like this. And then all of a sudden it was going like this. And I thought, well, I'm going to die here tonight in the hotel room. So I did not sleep that night. At 2 a.m., I found myself on the corner of the bed, 5 inches from the television, watching Law and Order Special Victims Unit with a volume at level 100. At 4 in the morning, I left my hotel room. I went out and I was pacing up and down Michigan Avenue because I was like, well, I can't sleep. I don't want to stay in here. I've watched all these Law and Orders. I need to get outside. My heart's still beating fast. So the next day, the broadcast, I don't think you could tell on air. I don't know. But I was gassed. And then after that, I got back to the hotel and I slept from 6 p.m. until the next morning. And I don't know what it was like. It was like I was in a different world, and so that is my Espresso Martini story, and that's why I don't want to mess with caffeine. So I've had a couple small half cups of coffee since to just kind of introduce it to myself a little bit. But
dip
my
your toes in the
Starbucks
water.
yeah, dip my toes a little bit, but I hope I'm not ever a coffee drinker. People say if I ever have kids that I will become a coffee drinker, but for now, when I go to Starbucks, I'm the guy who gets the blueberry scone and a peppermint tea. And then they say, oh, that's cool. That's not what most people order here, but we'll sell that to you. And I say, thank you. I appreciate it. If you want to write my name on a cup, it's Brandon. And yeah, so there you go. That's my Starbucks order.
That's beautiful.
So, you mentioned watching the Law and Order. Do you have are you a movie guy? Are you a TV show guy, on road trips, on the plane or in the hotel?
I've probably seen every Seinfeld episode north of 10 times. I love the creativity of that show and how it puts you in real life situations that are awkward. I love it. I love that show. I have been on a kick this off season of watching a lot of true crime. Not because I plan on committing any, I just find it fascinating. I don't know how about you guys feel about it, but when you watch some of these documentaries, it's fascinating. I like to try to solve puzzles. I always have. And so trying to piece these things together as the show is going on, I find fascinating. There used to be a show, and you guys might be too young, but called Unsolved Mysteries.
I remember.
When I was really young, and what I liked about it was trying to solve the mystery as the show was going along, and I found that with true crime, I do that as well. My favorite 3 movies, I would have to say, best comedy of all time, Wedding Crashers. Nice. Shawshank Redemption and Good Will Hunting, probably tied for my favorite movie of all time, and then the favorite comedy would be Wedding Crashers. Yeah. So.
Jose, I didn't mean to steal your spot, but I'll let you go.
Oh, no, that's fine. Thank you for all that, by the way. It's always fun learning about, you guys' personal lives because we listen to you guys almost every day throughout the baseball season, but it's always fun to learn about you guys on the individual level. So definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
I did have a question that was more baseball related, but not necessarily the Braves. What do you think about the WBC since it's coming up in about 7-8 weeks from now?
So I love the WBC, and I was not overly, I knew what it was, but until a few years ago wasn't overly exposed to it. The WBC down in Miami a couple of years back, the guys that were there, one of our PR guys, Franco, the translator, I'm sure you guys know Franco, right? See, he's just awesome. Our PR guys are great, and Franco is so good at his job and just a fun dude. Talking with him and some of the other players about the atmosphere at the WBC, they say that they have not seen anything like that. It is like World Series and maybe even World Series on steroids a little bit. So what I appreciate about the WBC is that I think it means so much to those foreign players. I'm not saying it doesn't mean anything to the guys in the States. It does. But I think you really see a different side of some of those foreign players, the Latin guys who really get into it, who really care, who want to represent their country. And I just think that's so cool. I've always been a big World Cup guy because of the unity of a nation and what it brings, even the U.S., not a soccer country, but I remember some of those World Cups growing up, how uniting it was for our country, and we could all use a little unity, right? And I feel that with the WBC, too. We may not feel it as much in the U.S., But those countries, especially those Latin guys from those Latin countries that are in that, it means a lot to them. So I love the WBC. I think it's a great thing. I hope it is always a part of the baseball dialogue and fabric of baseball because I know how much those guys care about it.
Yeah, I think the 2023 WBC did a great job of kind of showcasing that. I feel like before that it wasn't, for lack of a better term, like as big of a deal. The 2023 one really elevated it, in my opinion. So it'll be really fun to see what happens this year.
Yeah, and I also think that it being televised, like it had been televised before, but I think there was a little bit more emphasis on some of those bigger games that were televised in 2023, and I think that helped. And social media is becoming, it was a thing prior, right, but it's becoming more of a thing every year, and so you can check your phone and you're seeing a highlight from that game, you're like, oh shoot, I'm going to turn on Fox and watch that game, and so I expect that it'll get traction again. I think that 2023 was certainly the biggest WBC as far as just the casual fan knowing about it, and hopefully that'll continue.
Absolutely. Also, since you mentioned him, shout out to Franco, because there was one time that I ran into him on the 300 level concourse, and great guy, love him. So
he's awesome. Speaking of new fathers, Franco and his wife Aisha. So and those dudes that do so much for us, and we get to travel with them, like you talked about, getting to know people behind the scenes. You know, traveling with the Braves family is probably one of the best parts of the job. With Ben, with Jay Chad, with Joe, obviously with our TV crew, but the radio crew, and then all of those, Darren O'Day, just a tremendous amount of fun on the road. We have so many stories and great hangout times, and then all those guys in the PR group as well, doing kind of life with them throughout that 6-month season and going on those road trips and grabbing dinners or a drink after a game. And we all just love the Braves so much, and so you rehash the game, but you also get to know them as people, whether it's on the flight, the hotel, after the game, and those are really the moments about this job that I was looking forward to, and that has not only met but exceeded my expectation of kind of the outside of the baseball diamond, what's this life going to look like, and it's been a lot of fun, that's for sure.
What signing this offseason, Brandon, made you go, ooh? Not just Braves. We already know about the Kyle Tucker today.
I mean, yeah, I think it's Kyle Tucker. That is going to be the story. I think the rest of this offseason is. We were already talking about Dodgers and the payroll and a salary cap and the potential lockout next year. That was already on the table, and I think this just doused as much gasoline on the fire as you could possibly throw on there. Yeah. You know, we were talking, guys, before, and I'd be curious of your take on it, before we came on here earlier, and I said, and I mean it, I don't blame the Dodgers. I think if you want to get mad, you've got to get mad at the systems that are in place. The Dodgers aren't cheating. Nope. You can call it buying a championship, but if you've got the money to spend, then you need to do whatever you think is in your best interest to win a World Series. I think that that's the job of an owner and an ownership group. So, look, if they can afford Kyle Tucker and they think that that is going to help them win yet another World Series, that's not their fault. They shouldn't police themselves and say, no, we're going to give this money to charity and we're going to give Ohtani away to the Brewers so that we can that doesn't. So I'm not mad at the Dodgers. I think if you want to get mad at the system or frustrated with the system, I understand that. I think that that's a reasonable debate. But until the Dodgers are breaking rules, I don't see any reason to get all Hufflepuff, if you will, against the LA Dodgers.
I don't know how you go about fixing the system because players don't want to cap. I think that's pretty evident. Players don't want to cap, and the owners, being the stingy ones that there are, Pirates, I'm looking at you. They don't want to go out and spend money. So I think at least you need to raise the salary floor in order to bring in the talk of a salary cap. But what's the salary cap going to look like? And if players don't want it, then I think at some point you got to put in restrictions, not restrictions, but you got the luxury tax system. You got to have higher penalties if you're going to spend $60 million on a player that arguably is probably not worth $60 million a year. Kyle Tucker, great player. He's not Ronald Acuna Jr.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. And I think we would all agree with that. It is crazy. The luxury tax, I think, I was just looking at it yesterday. I think the Dodgers luxury tax is going to be north of 160 million, 161 million. That's more than 11 teams.
Yeah.
Like their luxury tax is more than the payroll of 11 teams. It's crazy.
That's so sad.
We every year have seen these salaries, especially over the last 7-8 years, just go up and up and up, and everyone's saying, okay, where does it stop? Like, are these guys going to be paid $20 billion in 10 years? And look, a lot of it is just generated by the increased TV revenue. And I know that there's a lot of talks about TV and how all that's working out, but there's more money through television and advertising in professional sports than there ever has been. And so these salaries keep going up and up and up. But there are kind of the haves and have-nots, and I do think baseball. I don't think this is controversial. I think everybody would agree with this, no matter which side you fall on, owners or players. They've got to come to the table and figure this out. Yep. There's not going to. We also need to acknowledge this. There's not going to be a perfect solution. There's not. There's going to be griping. There's not going to be a perfect solution. But is there a better solution than what is currently in place? I think the answer is yes, and I just hope both sides can get that done. It sure seems, everybody's talking about the lockout, it sure seems like that's going to be hard to avoid. I just hope it doesn't turn into a disastrous long lockout that really has implications that are negative for, all of us who love to follow the sport and for Major League Baseball in general. I hope that kind of cooler heads can prevail a little bit and get to a decision sooner rather than later.
What would be your solution?
How much time do you have?
We got all the time in the world.
No, Ryan. I think you're right. I think there needs to be some form of cap, and I think there needs to be a floor as well. And I think the issue you're going to run into is you're always going to have some of these players in the union that are going to be against that.
100%.
And I think that. I wish that there was, and maybe this is happening and I'm not aware of it, but some older guys who have played the game that still have involvement with some of these younger superstars that could maybe, I don't want to say talk some sense into them because it's easy for us to say this from our seat when we're not really affected by it, but maybe talk with them about, I hate to say the purity of the game, but maybe the way that things could be bettered by having a salary cap.
Yeah.
Because you could make an argument that if the game is more, if there is somewhat of a level playing field, and you don't want to go all the way and just make it, everyone gets a trophy. No one's saying that. But if you make it where there are some restrictions to help some of these smaller market teams, and it's not always the Dodgers and Yankees that have the most money and the Mets, I think it makes it better for the game as a whole. And then you could argue, well, that increases fan interest, which I definitely think it will. And in a way, that increases the money going into the pot for everybody long term. Then you've got more interest in the game, more people buying jerseys, more people coming to games. So it's hard to put a dollar value on it, but you could certainly argue that these two sides coming to an agreement and putting a cap in place and getting fan interest to grow would actually help out the players more in the long run. And look, you don't want to tell a Kyle Tucker that he doesn't deserve the money that he got because it's fair market and they wanted to pay him. And good for Kyle Tucker. He didn't do anything wrong. I'm not mad at him. But also, if he makes half of that, is his life any different? I don't think so. And you can play that game and it can be tricky because where's the line of where you cap it? And that's a different conversation. But bottom line is there's so much money. It is like Monopoly cartoon money at this point that I think we just need to find a way to limit it somewhat and help out some of these smaller teams that are lagging behind. And like you said, Ryan, I know you guys agree, you got to get some of these owners going a little bit too here now. 100%. It's a two-way street. It's 100%. Not just the players that are the bad guys here. It's the owners that maybe need to make some concessions as well, if you will.
Chad, before you jump my case, I'm not saying if I was Kyle Tucker, I would have turned down $60 million a year. I'd have signed the dotted line immediately. Like, they couldn't get that pen in my hand quick enough. So I'm not blaming the player. I'm saying the system is shit. Sorry.
I'm curious, and I won't judge you guys. Are any of you upset at the Dodgers for the way they're doing it? If you are, that's fine. Is anybody upset at the Dodgers?
No, I mean, I think it was the missing piece to probably get him over the hump. No, I mean, we would be in the same seat as Dodger fans if Atlanta was doing that,
100%.
basically,
Yeah.
you know. And I know Atlanta's not going to go out on a spending spree, I guess you could say, and go willy-nilly.
Give them a break.
I mean, like, signing just ridiculous contracts. Like, Atlanta's not going to bend as much as they don't have to. So I think we'd be in the same boat if Atlanta was doing it. You know, we'd all be laughing at the rest of the league.
Yeah. But at the same time, and it is different, but if you're a Pirates fan, you probably look at the Braves and be like, man, I wish we'd go out and spend $20 million to get a shortstop. I wish we'd go out and get Robert Suarez, right? Mm-hmm. So there's always jealousy when you're looking up. It's just that everybody right now is obviously looking up at the Dodgers.
Yep.
So,
I mean, I feel like before getting mad at the Dodgers, I feel like you have to look at the situation, get mad at the environment that allows the Dodgers to do this instead of them. Because, like I was saying before, the Dodgers are not doing anything wrong. They won the World Series 2 years in a row, back-to-back. They're trying to go
Repeat
this year. So you cannot blame a team for winning and wanting to continue to compete and to win year after year. You just can't. It's much more of a problem for teams that don't spend as much or refuse to spend as much, in my opinion, which is why you need, again, like we were discussing, the salary floor would be a huge positive for baseball, in my opinion. But I feel like you can't have one without the other. The salary floor and the salary cap are probably coming at the same time. But I don't think getting mad at the Dodgers is necessarily the correct move here. They're just competing, and can't get mad at them for that.
yeah, and I still think baseball's in a pretty good spot right now. It feels like we always hear with baseball about the negative. With the salary cap, you're hearing so much about the TV rights deals, right? It feels like the negative usually wins the day on social media. But I still think baseball's in a pretty good spot. They do have some compelling superstars, which you felt like baseball maybe lacked for a little while. And the intrigue around the playoffs last year was pretty high. Now, yes, you could say, well, the Dodgers were playing, so the numbers were up. I get that, and that's true. The Dodgers are always going to rate higher than most of the teams in Major League Baseball. I get that. But that was one of the greatest World Series I've ever seen. I still think, I don't think, now I was young, I still think 91 between the Braves and Twins, even though the Braves lost, they should have won and Kent Herbeck cheated. But I still think 91 for my money was a little better. But that was a great World Series. And people, my friends that don't follow baseball, were locked in. They were locked in. And my point in saying that is, like, there are still casual people out there who want to be into baseball, that remember following baseball in their childhood. And I still think baseball's in a pretty good spot right now. It's just, you don't want to lose the momentum, right? And I think everybody's concerned that a lockout could really do what happened with the strike back in the mid-'90s and turn some people off. And you certainly don't want that to happen, and hopefully that'll be avoided.
Since we're talking about the salary cap and floor, what would be your opinion on say expanding and a potential divisional realignment too? Because I know there's been talk about that too.
I don't love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think baseball, and just obviously my personal opinion, I think baseball has other issues to worry about right now that I think expansion would just maybe, if anything, maybe dilute the product a little bit. And I also think that selfishly as a Braves fan, I like having the Phillies and Mets in our division. And I know there's been different proposals with the realignment and what that could mean, but I like the division as it is, and I don't really want it to change. And I think that the Braves have such a big chunk of the Southeast, and putting a team, whether it's Charlotte or Nashville, if that would happen, is that going to hurt the Braves and ruin the fan base. No, the Braves are such a brand that they're always going to have a big piece of the pie and a big fan base. I guess my point is I don't think baseball needs teams in those markets because the coverage there is good because of the Atlanta Braves. And, I know there's talks about other cities as well in Salt Lake City, and I know Dale Murphy has some involvement in that. But I just think right now, I'm saying expansion, could it be good? Maybe at some point. In the next 5 to 10 years, I don't think baseball needs it. And I'll use the word dilute again. I think you might dilute the product a little bit. And I just don't think that's what baseball needs at the moment. So.
I can agree with that.
Yeah. What
now, if they do it, like, do I? And I mean this. I'm not just saying this to save face. If they add 2 teams, is that a disaster? No, absolutely not. Will it be fun to go to those places and all that? But it'll take a little while to get used to that. The realignment is the part that sometimes is a little harder for me the pill to swallow because I love, as much as you grow to dislike the Phillies and the Mets, I love those rivalries. It's so great.
Yeah.
It's so much fun to play those guys and to see the way that the fan bases interact. And look, there's some people that get really angry on Twitter, but at the end of the day, it's good. It's good competition. It's what's great about sports. And I don't know. I love the rivalries that are instilled right now, and I wouldn't want those to go away.
I'm with you.
No doubt. I love hating the Phillies and the Mets. I love it.
Hating the Phillies. I love it. It's my national pastime.
Those games, sorry, Jeb. Those games during the
You're
season,
good.
they always add like a little extra something during the season of baseball. Like, for example, near the beginning of 2025, we played the Phillies, that game that Marcell Ozuna walked it off with a homer in the extras.
Yeah.
That felt like one of the first big moment of the Braves season, if I remember correctly, because the first 7 games didn't happen from my memory. That never occurred. I forgot all about it. So for me, that was the first really good memory that I can look back on. So speaking of Marcell Ozuna,
Go ahead.
I was going to say no more big
bear
from the big bear.
Nah.
I mean, technically he's still a free agent, but it's sad. Look, I understand the issues that Ozuna had in his personal life and all that the fans had to say about it, and understandably so. I'm certainly not defending anything that he did in his personal life. I didn't know Marcell Ozuna back then. I only know the Marcell Ozuna that I met from 2023 on. And I also just know the effect that he had in that clubhouse. And the reality is that he was a big part of that team from a morale standpoint. Obviously, what he did offensively there for those 2 seasons was pretty darn impressive. Mm-hmm. But he means so much to that clubhouse, and those guys really rely on him. They go to him for things. They rally around him. He's kind of also a bridge builder between the Latin players and the non-Latin players. There's not a divide there, but just naturally it's different cultures, right? Yep. And Marcell Ozuna just has a way about him that everybody likes him, and everybody wants to be around him, and everybody goes to his locker to talk to him. So, there was a lot made about when Ron Washington left about a culture void, and I think that was real. And I think with Marcell Ozuna being gone, a piece of that will go. Does that mean that you can't make up for that and still have a better team and win a World Series? No, of course not. But you need to acknowledge that if he is gone, that there is a production piece missing and there's a locker room piece missing that is going to be a true void that is felt.
Speaking of the Big Bear, we know how much you love your nicknames. We have started a movement, and obviously you'll probably have to check with the player first, but we are now referring Bryce Elder as Big Texas.
Well, he's very proud of his Texas roots, so I don't think that Bryce would hate that. I don't know. It's not a nickname. For some reason, I love the number 55, and I like to sometimes call him the double nickel.
Yep.
And I also just have a soft spot in my heart for Bryce because I think sometimes when he has struggled, people pile on him pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have the velocity. People, he's just a guy. But, man, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of times where he's filled a need in that rotation, has just gone out there and gone 7 innings of quick baseball and given up 2 or 3 runs and kept the Braves in it. And so I have a soft spot in my heart for Bryce. He's also just been, great to me and easy to talk to and a good guy to be around. But Big Texas, might have to talk to him about that in spring training and see how he feels about it.
He does know, and he gave a little smirk.
That is confirmed. He does know about it.
Okay, well, wait, what's the story? What did I miss?
We're pretty good friends with a guy who's a season ticket holder, and so when they did the whole on the field day, I think it was a Sunday game for the season ticket holders. He told Bryce. He said Bryce just kind of smirked. Shout out Ken.
Yeah, I love it. It seems like you guys also have some interaction with Michael Harris from time to time.
That
would be Jose.
Yeah.
I tell you about Michael Harris. What a guy. I just, honestly, when I made a Twitter, now X account, I just wanted basically something centered on baseball, and I thought I would name it after like a young stud. Just so happened that I created the account in 2022, so I named it after Michael Harris. Which turned out to be a pretty good decision. He won the Rookie of the Year that year. And, there was just one day that he had tweeted something, and I said, well, if you want to follow any more Braves fans, hi. So followed me, and he had me go onto the field after a game one night, took a picture with him, and, the rest is history. It's still my pinned tweet. It'll probably be my pinned tweet for the rest
That's
of the
awesome.
time. So,
Yeah,
love Michael Harris.
That's awesome, man. And I hear stories like that from Braves fans of just these guys are, I don't want to say accessible, but maybe more accessible than other teams, especially for the level of fame they're at. And I don't know, it's just such a good clubhouse. For our role, I feel spoiled because you hear stories of other teams and other sports, and there's not as much access, or the guys maybe are hard to get to know, and I haven't really felt that with this club, and especially those guys like Harris and Ozzie and others that have been at Riley and Matt that have been around for a while. They're just good dudes. They're easy to talk to. They're laid back good guys, and it makes them so easy to root for. It makes I would cheer for the Braves regardless of who was in that jersey, but when you develop relationships with and genuinely like the people that are wearing the jersey, it makes your job that easy every night when you go behind the microphone to talk about them. And certainly Michael Harris is on that list.
All right, so we had the 0-7 start. At what point did the players break out Joe Boo or start getting some sage burning in that clubhouse? Because it was rough those first 7 games.
Man, so the 2 low points of the season for me was when Ohtani hit that homer to win that 7th game for the Dodgers, and the Braves were 0-7 on that trip. And then there was another West Coast trip. You remember when we played the Giants and they walked us off on 2 straight? And
Don't even.
How did we just lose those games?
Don't even.
That, and then, everyone's joke, Grant McCauley does a great job following the team. I think he said something like, well, you thought we hit rock bottom, but no, we didn't. We got a new rock bottom. And I remember feeling so bad for the guys because I felt like they were pressing and they wanted it so bad, wanted to turn things around, and just everything was going against them. And, after the game, there's 3 buses that go back to the hotel. And we always jump on the first bus. And typically that's the guys that don't have media obligation, or they shower quick, or they just need to get back to the hotel. Maybe their family's on the road. And I remember after that second Giants game, there was about 20 guys on the bus with us. So it was a larger contingent. And you could just feel the weight on their shoulders. And you just hate it because the online onslaught that's coming, and, the Braves blew it again, and blow this thing up and start from scratch. And I get it. Fans are fans. I'm a fan, right? We all get passionate. We say things. I'm not mad at the fans. My point is, when you see it from the inside and you're next to those guys when they're reading the comments and you just feel the weight on their shoulders and you see them as human beings, it's tough, man. It's tough. And I really felt that in that moment last year, in particular in San Francisco. So, yeah, those were a couple of tough moments that really stick out. There were some good moments last year for sure. I think, for me, the coolest moment was Acuna coming back and hitting that homer.
I was just going to ask.
That was Hollywood. I mean, I get chills thinking about it. That was the loudest that Truist was all season, and it was really cool. Obviously, the cons did outweigh the pros last year, wins and losses wise, and we all get that. But there were still a lot of fun moments. And our broadcast crew, we always find a way to have fun on air,
yes,
off air. So I don't look at last season as, oh shoot, I hope we never go through that again. Do I want to win more games and want the Braves to get back to the postseason? Of course. But I still view it as, selfishly for me, I got to kind of be on the inside for another Braves season, got to go through it with those guys and our crew, and still had a lot of fun moments.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but did you not say something when he was like walking into the box about him potentially going deep?
I don't think I did. I think my thought process was set the moment. So I just wanted a quick recap to say he's coming back. This is how long he's been out, another ACL injury, so much adversity, and here he is, first time back, and then that first pitch. And I don't remember exactly what I said, but I just knew that I wanted to. When I realized he hit it and the ball was right off the bat, you could tell.
Oh, yeah.
And I think my job in that moment as a play-by-play announcer is say something quickly to sum it up and get out and let the crowd do its thing. And I think we had about 45 seconds to a minute of silence before CJ jumped in on the replay to analyze. And that to me was awesome because if I'm watching the game at home, I don't need the announcer to narrate every second of that. I want him to hit the high note, put it in high definition for me, and then let me feel that moment. Let the crowd take over and let me see the celebration of Acuna and the players. And that was a special moment for sure last year.
I knew it. As soon as he stepped in the box, I was like, he's going deep right here.
Like you were saying, man, the crowd's reaction is always such a huge moment, or like a huge addition to the moment, I should say. When just milestones and just career highlights, things like that happen for a player, getting to hear the crowd's reaction and the roar and all the noise that's happening in the stadium, it really makes you feel at home like you're part of this, even though you're watching from the TV, maybe on your couch or maybe listening on the radio at work like Ben does once in a while. It just makes you feel like you're a part of it, man. It's always such an awesome moment. So those are honestly some of my favorite moments when it comes to baseball in general. Just, of course, listening to the broadcast crew, their analytics, their analysis, their commentary, but also the actual crowd. It's always such a powerful moment.
Yeah, and I think baseball more so than the other sports lends itself to occasional silence and just watching a pitch or two go by, especially, it's a long season, 3 hours a night or 2 hours and 45 minutes a night. There's time to me where I just think it's best to just watch the action. And then there's times where, it needs a little bit more stepping up or hitting big moments and making sure that you're ready for a big call. But baseball is a sport that I don't think needs to be consistently narrated for 9 innings. And that's something that, look, I'm still working on. I haven't perfected that. I'm still working on that balance. But you think about big calls like Acuna's homer, just a little bit of maybe how the sausage is made or what goes on in our heads as those things are happening. If he had hit that home run, if his first game back had been in Cincinnati and the stadium was half full, it still would have been a cool moment, but it wouldn't have felt as big because it was on the road. Yep. And I probably would have added another sentence or two at the end of that homer because it would have been eerily quiet. No one there would have been cheering for Acuna's homer outside of maybe 1,000 Braves fans. So I kind of treat that differently. There's a saying when as an announcer, when the crowd goes up, you go down. And I think on the road, you kind of treat that a little bit differently. I still don't think you need to over-talk or scream unnecessarily, but you do treat moments like that different. Like when Acuna hit his homer out in Los Angeles to join the, whatever it was, 30, 60, 30, 70, I forget what he got in Los Angeles. But anyways, that was in 24. or 2 years ago, I remember just wanting to do that call justice, but also realizing that it was really quiet inside Dodger Stadium, and so I felt like I had a little more leeway to punch that call a little bit longer to set the moment, because you didn't really have the crowd to set that moment for you. So you feel that out too, whether the Braves are at home or on the road, and what the moment means. But just in general, I think silence in the middle of the third inning when there's one out and one on, and it's 2-0, and it's game 60 of 162. I think watching a couple pitches, I like it. I like hearing the organ and just looking at someone down there eating a hot dog and throwing popcorn, whatever the case may be. I like all those all those things that kind of make the broadcast come to life and make you feel like you're in the stadium.
Absolutely. Obviously, we've gone over it a lot. There was a lot of low points this year, but talk to us about the emergence from your end, the emergence of Drake Baldwin, and then Hurston Waldrop coming down the stretch, kind of filling some big shoes of being that number 3, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and I think you talk about bright spots and silver linings for last year. Certainly, those are at the top of the list. I mean, you can't project out and say that Drake Baldwin is going to be a 15-year major league veteran who produces at that level every year. You hope that that's the case, and you hope that he only gets better, but you just don't know how it's going to go. But I will say this: when you have a year like that as a rookie, with how consistent he was, with how mature he was, you sure get excited thinking about years 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and hopefully they're all in a Braves uniform. And he's just a tremendous dude. I mean, he's just a great, level-headed, humble guy. But I was so impressed. I remember in spring training the way that he was waiting on pitches and just slapping them through the left side. And I remember CJ and I just saying that's not normal for someone his age to be able to do that so consistently and so well. Spraying balls to all parts of the field. The way he improved receiving also should not go unnoticed as well. I think he made huge strides in that category. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm excited for him. And Hurston Waldrop, I felt bad a couple years ago when he got his cup of coffee and struggled, because you hear so many stories. You go on Baseball Reference, you can find thousands of pitchers who had that happen to them and then never made it back to the show, right? Never got back. But for him to not only come back, but then to prove, hey, I am as good as advertised, maybe I'm better than advertised, I was really excited for him. And obviously the Braves needed that, and they might need that going forward, as we talked about with starting pitching. But those two guys, they're looking like pieces that you can plug in and really rely on every time they go out there, and that is huge. Now, I will be curious to see how this combination of Baldwin and Murphy go together this coming year. Hopefully we get a full season of health from Murph. I think it could be a really, really good thing to keep both of those guys healthy and fresh, and then you have obviously the option to DH whoever doesn't start behind the plate. That could be a heck of a catching duo. We just got to keep Murph healthy this year.
Yes, that's the biggest key.
Yeah.
Let him be healthy. I got 2 questions. Number 1, so what player surprised you the most? And it could be playing-wise, it could be character-wise, it could be something the player said, just the most shocked moment you've been with any type of player.
You mean in my 3 years doing this?
Yes. What players...
we talked about it earlier. I would say just in general, Marcell Ozuna's presence in the clubhouse and what he means to those guys. I had heard the built-up narrative around his personal issues, and so you go in wondering, okay, is there an impact in the clubhouse? Do guys respect him? What's he like as a person? And again, I just was blown away with how guys gravitate to him and how much of a leader he is. He just is in that clubhouse. He's almost like a natural leader. And he really carries himself in that clubhouse with humility, and I think that's one of the reasons he's so respected. So he was a guy that is following before coming on in this role as a Braves fan. I was thinking, I wonder what Ozuna's going to be like, and I wonder what it's going to be like to interact with him. And he's got a handshake with everybody, he's got a saying with everybody, and I just felt immediately embraced by him, and I always felt like he was embracing the clubhouse and they were embracing him. So yeah, I know it's a revisit to what we talked about earlier, Rye, but I
okay.
think that would probably be at the top of the list.
He's a personal friend of the Cobb County Police, by the way.
Man, Matt, you want to talk about a moment that caught me off guard. I mean, our camera, so our crew, you never know I shouldn't say you never know, but sometimes you just don't know what shot is going to come up next. And I like to watch, when I'm in the booth, do I watch the field? Absolutely. But I also keep my monitor right here of what you guys are seeing at home, because I don't want to miss a moment like that. I want to talk to what you're seeing. Now, you're going to miss stuff inevitably because you're in the middle of the story and you're not seeing every shot that's taken by the director. But, man, that caught me so off guard. It happened so quick. I was like, oh, my gosh, he's dapping up the Cobb County Police. And, yeah, I remember so I laughed. I think you could hear us laughing in the booth, and then I hit the mute button on my console in front of me, the cough button, because I was out of control there for about 5 seconds.
So now I got to ask this question. Was that moment replayed in the clubhouse a good bit throughout the season?
Wait, Marcel and the policeman?
Yes.
No. I
Okay.
mean, the reality is that he knows all those guys, the security guys, the officers down there, and so it's so second nature to those guys. I know that they saw it and they got a chuckle out of it. But, Marcel's been doing this every game. It just hasn't really been documented like it was so
That
perfectly
time.
timed in that moment with our narration. But no, I know it. Those clips like that, they make their rounds, and the guys will maybe say something to you as you get on the bus. Hey, I saw this, haha. But beyond that, I think they laughed and kind of moved on from it.
Gotcha. All right, I'll let y'all go. Y'all go ahead.
Wait,
Jose.
Ryan, didn't you have a second question?
I did, but I got it written down. I'll get back to it in a minute. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, when we look at the 2026 season, do you have any dates circled, any series that you're looking forward to?
Phillies and Mets, baby. Those are always the ones.
Yes.
No, you know what? Honestly, I'm really most excited, and this may seem silly to some. Last 3 years, my first 3 years on the job, we've started on the road. And I've wanted to have opening day at Truist Park and have that be the first game. I know we get Braves opening day, the first home game, but when it's not game one of the season, it's a little bit different. And so I'm pumped for March 27th just to have the first game of the year, sleep in my own bed, go to the ballpark, go through the rhythm and routine, and just there's nothing like opening day. These last 3 opening days have been awesome. So now to get one at home in front of a packed house, like there's no question that that's what I have circled on my calendar, and I am ready for that. Beyond that, I would say that I just have cities that I enjoy going to, and then I really enjoy going to play the Mets and Phillies because the atmospheres are awesome, the rivalries are intense, the games just feel a little bit bigger, and I like when they come to us as well. But then, things like going to Wrigley, going to Fenway, I love going to San Francisco. So there's ballparks that I just get excited to walk into that booth for sure. But the opening day in 2026 will kind of be a bucket list moment for me.
Is there a favorite, I'm pretty sure we've asked you this on the last one, but a favorite road restaurant?
I don't think I have a specific restaurant. That dinner that I mentioned in Chicago where I almost died from that espresso martini, that was probably one of my favorite dinners that we've had on the road because we had a good group and the team was doing so well, and it was just a fun season, and that was just such a fun dinner. And we had people telling stories and laughing and holding court, and it was just an incredibly good time. So that dinner kind of sticks out to me. But I don't know. I have my spots where I go for like breakfast and lunch now in a lot of these places that we visit often. But as far as dinner restaurants, that dinner from 23 still kind of sticks out as a pretty cool one. And then also our crew, our TV crew, before the season starts on that first road trip, we always do a dinner before the season gets going on that first road trip. And that's a highlight because we make our season predictions. We know each other so well that we finish each other's sentences and jokes. And so doing that has been a real thrill these last few years. And now that I've gotten to know everybody on the crew so well, I always look forward to that.
All right, this just popped into my head.
Oh boy.
Does the Braves clubhouse still hold kangaroo court?
That is often talked about. And, I know the older guys and like CJ and Frenchie, and when we have Glab and Smoltz on, they'll talk about kangaroo court as well. If there's kangaroo court, it's not like it used to be, and all those older players will tell you that. So I can't speak to whether or not it exists in some form. My guess is yes, but I think it's been modified pretty drastically from what it used to be back in the day.
So you're going on year 3 with CJ? Four with CJ?
Oh, sorry, 4 overall, 3 with CJ, yes.
Okay. What is like something you have learned from his perspective that he's taught you? Like maybe it's pitch sequencing, maybe it's something you're looking for in a scouting report. What has he kind of taught you that you maybe didn't know or didn't even completely think about?
Yeah, he's taught me a lot because he's as knowledgeable of an analyst as I've ever worked with in any sport, and he's as prepared of an analyst as I've ever worked with in any sport. And if you guys listen to his MLB Network radio show, you hear it on there. He's so good at that, just his vast knowledge of the game and individual players, but he also is an incredible researcher. And you should see his setup up there in the booth. It's really something. It's something like I've seen it something similar from play-by-play announcers, but not from analysts. He's got an extra monitor. He's got his computer. He's got all these tabs open with his research. And if he doesn't have something off the top of his head, which a lot of his stuff incredibly is off the top of his head, he can find it quickly. He knows where to go to get it. He knows how he wants to use it and position it on the air and in our broadcast and say it succinctly so that the people at home can digest it and understand. And so I've learned a lot from him about the research side of the game. But also just being a good teammate. He's a great teammate. He wants to have great relationships with everybody on the crew. He wants to know how he can make my position succeed, Wiley's position succeed. He listens well. He likes to have conversations. So often in booths, I feel like you can get on this trajectory where you're on 2 parallel roads, and it's play-by-play talks, analyst talks, play-by-play talks, analyst talks, but they're not really having that conversation like they're next to you on the couch. And I think the magic moments happen when it's like you're sitting next to each other on a couch. So my posture in the booth, and CJ's kind of the same, is so if Field is here and CJ's over here, I like to do this, to where I always have an eye on CJ and an eye on the field so that it feels more inviting, and I know he likes to do the same thing. But yeah, man, I can't say enough good things about him as a person, as a broadcaster, as a teammate, and the list of things that I've learned from him and continue to learn from him are very long.
Another one that just popped in my head, and after this one I've got 2 more, and I'll let these guys go and we'll get you out of here. We want to be conservative of your time, but you're doing the food reviews, man. What is the best thing you've had so far? I guess it's from the Chop House.
Man, last year we crushed some food inside Truist Park. There's a lot of, so Delaware North, who's the partner that manages the food at Truist, has been unbelievable to us. And one of the guys, one of the point men, Jocko, he's the one that delivers us the food every night, and he'll just say, all right, tonight, we're playing Chicago. We're doing the Chicago dog. Here it is. Here's a list of what goes into it. And they want us to talk about it on air so that when people come out to the stadium, they know, hey, you can get this in this section or the Blue Moon Beer Garden or whatever. And so I mean, you might not notice it, but I was very unhealthy in 2025 because every night we had something up there. So there are these, what's the taco place? It's right down the street from me, too, and they've got it in the stadium. And now I can't think of it for the life of me. It's right by Jenny's Ice Cream in Buckhead. Hold on. I'm looking it up on my computer. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. This is great television, by the way.
Yeah. Hey, you probably just bought him a couple more customers, too.
Well, it's embarrassing that I don't know this because I go there Oh, Velvet Taco. Gosh. Sorry, folks at Velvet Taco. So, Velvet Taco has a chicken tikka masala taco there that is spicy.
Ooh.
That is probably my favorite thing in Truist Park. And Chef Jaco has brought that to me way too many times now. And so I'll crush a few of those a night, and then whatever specialty item he brings in. There was, I don't know if you remember us doing it, there was a peach cobbler nacho that they brought us last year.
I remember that.
And I'll be honest, it's probably 2/3 of the way through the season. They told me about this. They brought that up there, and we were in between the inning, and we're in commercial break, and I told CJ, I was like, I think this is going to be terrible. And we took a bite of that, and we looked at each other like, this is phenomenal. I don't know what they put in, if they laced it with crack. I don't know what was in there. But we were just gobbing that thing, grabbing with two hands, and just like we were a mess. But that sticks out to me as something that surprised. It was tremendous.
Jose, I'll kick it off to you.
No, sorry. That just brought in a visual of that man who was eating the ice cream cone.
It'll have to be referenced.
Oh, that was out in
Colorado.
And you guys remember we talked about it. That ended up being
Yep.
Brian Snitker's friend. And, yeah, that was an all-time moment. By the way, can I just say real quick, not that this needs to be said, but I'm going to miss Brian Snitker. And I appreciate so much how kind he was to me the last 3 years. When you come into that role, and I've done it at the college level, I've done it at the professional level. When you are broadcasting games for a team, one of your main concerns is how is the manager or the head coach going to do business, and how are they going to treat me, and is it going to be an open, comfortable environment? And it could not have been more open and more comfortable. He could not have been nicer and more gracious to me. And that man deserves every good thing that comes his way. And, someday there will be, I hope it's soon, there will be a statue like Bobby has outside the stadium for Brian Snitker, and deservedly so. 50 years in the organization and counting, and he's staying on in an advisory role. I appreciate him more than he'll ever know. And so, yeah, kudos to Brian Snitker.
I already know what the statue needs to look like. Him popping that champagne bottle after they won the World Series.
I love it. How cool would that be?
That'd be
I love
great. All right, I got a baseball question for you. So obviously we had a lot of injuries. Besides Ronald, because I think Ronald's the one of one that we all know we need him to stay healthy. Biggest key to stay healthy for the Atlanta Braves in 2026.
I mean, I definitely think it's got to be if you're looking for a name of a guy, it's got to be one of the starting pitchers. I mean, I think keeping Chris Sale healthy is vital. It's vital, obviously, for the production that he brings. And, as he ages, you hope that he continue to meet the level that he has these last couple of years when he's been healthy. But I talked about the clubhouse, and we talk about it on air. You guys have heard us discuss it a lot. He is a guy that came in and from day one, somehow as an outsider, had obviously a lot of it's because of his playing career, but he just had instant respect from everybody in that clubhouse. Not only as a player, as a person. I think that's hard to do when you've got 25 other guys in there and you're coming in and you're maybe in the latter stages of your career and you've been with the big bad Boston Red Sox. He totally humbled himself, brought himself down to the level of every guy in that clubhouse, and earned instant credibility and respect. And on the plane, he's the guy that's coming back to the back of the plane to talk to the media people and checking in on everybody and wanting to know how everybody's doing and sharing stories. And that says a lot about him for a guy who's had the success he has had and has put away the money that he's had. It would be very easy for him to just say, you know what, I'm not going to kind of do my own thing, and I've got my routine. I don't want to get in the mix of everybody else and these young players, but he is the exact opposite. And so I think his health, just because of the leadership and having him out there, what he means to this team, I think his health is really, really important for the Braves in 2026.
That's a good answer. Jose, you got anything else?
Last question from me. So
Don't blow it, Jose. There's a lot on this question right here. I'm at the end of my water. I'm about to piss down my leg. Don't ruin it.
So we just talked about Brian Snitker. What are your thoughts on Walt Weiss as our new skipper?
Love it. Yep, I'm not just saying that. And I know that the fan base was saying, oh, we needed fresh blood and all that. when you see the dynamics of the clubhouse,
Not me.
and you know Walt is a guy, it gets you excited. It gets you excited. And Walt will beat up anybody in the world. Like he's black belt. He is the dude that you think you can mess with that you would never in a million years want to mess with. If a fight went down in any baseball diamond between any of the major league teams, I'm putting my money on Walt Weiss over anybody, and I mean that. You guys may think I'm crazy, but I mean that. My point in saying that is he's got that edge to him, but he also is a really nice, good guy. And the players love him. They really do. I mean, when he was announced as the manager, guys came out, whether it be publicly or privately, and were like, yes, we wanted Walt. I think the key was also to then maybe infuse some younger coaches into the staff and get some guys around him. I think that was just as key, and I think the Braves have done that. The additions in the coaching staff are fantastic. Really excited. Look, Rick Kranitz is awesome. He was fantastic, and I thought he was tremendous in that role. Look at the staff, what they did under his tutelage. But I'm also excited about Jeremy Hefner. I think a guy who really I don't know if he's under the radar because he was known and with the Mets for 6 seasons, but I think he turns 40 in March, and I kind of like that now there's this mix of older and younger and new ideas, and I really think that this staff, we'll see how it gels in spring training, but in talking to people who know these guys, the Braves have really assembled a good staff around Walt Weiss, and so I'm pumped, man. I really am.
I was not happy, but then once the players kind of started coming together and the additions of the younger staff, I should say, it got me more excited, and I'm on the Walt train.
I was a man on an island for a while. I was a man on an island.
Ryan, you got anything?
I'll say this too, guys. I talked about how you get to know these people as individuals and you root for them. Well, I've gotten to know Walt really well, and Walt's been so good to me that I was kind of cheering for him because I know he had that opportunity in Colorado, but that was a tough situation. No one was going to win those years that he was in Colorado. So to have this chance with a more established, well-run organization and to have learned along with Snit in these last years, I don't know. I'm pumped. I'm really excited to see where it goes.
Absolutely, me too. Ryan, you got anything?
One more. And then I'll let you go pee, Brandon, I promise. All right. So if somebody is going to make a trip to a visiting ballpark, it doesn't have to be an historic one. Like just give me a sneaky good venue that you wouldn't expect to be good.
Venue, PNC Park in Pittsburgh. Great views, walk across the bridge to the game. If you sit up high enough, and most seats are, you've got a beautiful view of downtown Pittsburgh and the river, and it just has a good vibe there. Now, if they fill it, I haven't seen it filled other than way back in the day, but if they fill it, that would be an unbelievable atmosphere because it's good half full. It's good half full. So that always, I say, is a sneaky ballpark. I like Pittsburgh as a city. A lot of people don't. So for a city, I really like going to Denver. And again, another place that you wouldn't think, well, the Rockies have been bad, but they still get decent crowds. What I like about it is the Braves somehow always have a huge contingent at that ballpark. But I like the city. You go out there after you've been in the heat, and it's July, and you just step outside, like, oh my gosh, it's 75, there's no humidity. You take in that mountain air, and that's a city that I always tell people, if you're going to go see a ball game and you want to get out of the heat for 3, 4, 5 days, go to a couple series out in Colorado, because it's a cool ballpark, and it's a great city.
I love it. I love Colorado when we went out there, but... All right, this is the final question we ask all our guests. I'm sure you're familiar with the escape rooms.
I've done it once with my family. We didn't make it out. We all died. So, yeah.
I think we asked you this. I think we asked you this last time. Who from the 2025 roster are you taking in an escape room with you, and why?
Ooh, that's a good one. Pierce Johnson.
Okay.
Well, that's a first.
Here's why. Because Pierce is both smart and incredibly funny. And I feel like he could figure things out, but if we couldn't, he would make me laugh. And I think we would have fun, but he also is really intelligent and intuitive and can figure things out. So I think I'm going Pierce Johnson. Yeah.
That's a first.
Wasn't Pierce Johnson in the pitching change with the Master Boney moment?
Yeah, he was there.
No.
He was there. That was Brad Hand, Pierce Johnson, and Miles Mastrobone.
That is beautiful. How many times did y'all talk about that?
A trio that will forever live in infamy. Let's pour one out for those guys. No, yeah, that he was. I'm gonna miss Pierce, guys. Just incredible guy and so funny, and you could sit with him in the clubhouse and he would talk life with you. He would tell his jokes. He would just so likable and fun. I'm happy for him. I hope it works out with the Reds, and I hope he continues to have a very successful career. But yeah, love that dude. He's great.
Awesome. Yeah, Brandon, once again, thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it. You digging out the time and getting to talk some Braves with us.
Yeah, this is fun, guys. Jose, Jebrai, thanks. Tell Ben, really appreciate him coming on, and it's good to see him. Now tell him good luck with the new edition. It's great to talk with you guys. Excited for the season and can't wait to get it rolling here soon.
Absolutely. Well, alrighty. Once again, thank you, man.
Thank you.
I'm just rolling into it. I'm coming off that high. We say it every time we interview, CJ or Brandon or anybody else.
Don't forget Ben Ingram. Okay.
We're waiting on him, but
don't give it away, Jeb.
We're waiting on confirmation, but that is 10 times better than the last one, and
Absolutely.
Every time we interview CJ or Brandon or anybody, I'm like, golly, that's got to be my favorite interview. Well, no, that has to be my favorite interview.
We got a lot of favorites, man.
That was really good. That was some really good ball talk. That was awesome. I think. Yes,
ball talk, man.
And he wasn't lying. No. He wasn't lying about having a piss.
No, dude. That man was chugging some water, dude.
We logged off and we sat and talked for 2 seconds, and we were like, go piss. I think the part that kind of stuck out to me was really just kind of how personable he is, man. Last time we interviewed him, you can obviously kind of tell, even a little bit into this interview, I'm skittish. I'm a little schoolgirl,
Fumbling, brother. What you talking about? You were fumbling.
But once the conversation gets going, and you find out quick that Brandon is a really, really personable guy who's just, once you get over being a little schoolgirl, he's really easy to talk to.
Does that surprise us, man?
So, to everyone who didn't watch our first interview with Brandon Gaudin, first of all, shame on you. Go and listen to that interview as well. Me, chat, I'm going to tell you guys right now, my lips were shaking. I was nervous. I could not.
Yes!
I could not speak for the life of me on that interview. This one was, Brandon's such a nice guy, dude. He was so easy to talk to, fun conversations, and I feel like the conversation just flowed a lot smoother this time around. So, didn't have nearly as much jitters this time around. So, shout out to Brandon, man.
He's a cool cat, man. He's easy to talk to, but to me, that should be a surprise, man. Most of the Braves guys that we've had on have been just really good people and just so easy to talk to, man. And Brandon's no different. And he's got a great sense of humor, by the way.
Absolutely.
Fantastic sense of humor. Jeb, honey.
Sorry, I'm taking care of some business right now. But
some business. All right.
No, I completely agree. Even CJ, when we talk to CJ, minus my Wi-Fi being Osama bin Laden, it was completely easy the second time around, because even CJ's the same way. I mean, he's really personable and really easy to talk to, and we really appreciate these guys. I mean, coming on and just doing these interviews with us, man. It helps us out more than they know. I'm pretty sure, they just come on and talk ball, but it really helps us out a lot, and we're forever grateful for that.
Absolutely.
We talked a little bit of it, in the interview, but I do want to get kind of a more little in depth about the Tucker and Bo signing, because Bo's going to be at the Mets. We're going to see him, 9 times, and then Tucker's going to be in the National League with the Dodgers, so we could potentially see him in the playoffs. I'll kick it off to Ryan.
Can we start with the Dodgers, please?
Yes.
Listen, we talked about it already, chat. Look, you can't blame the Dodgers for their bottomless pockets, if you will, so they can spend money. But it does piss me off a little bit. Who in the fuck thinks Kyle Tucker is worth $60 million fucking dollars a year?
It's short years. He's getting his money either way.
No. Shohei Ohtani is making $70 million, and Kyle Tucker's only worth just 10 less? Come on, bro.
Shohei's there longer, though. And Shohei got $700 million. Tucker only got, what, $240?
It's $60 a year, bro. Come on, man. Who the fuck thinks that's right? Who the
What's
fuck
the
thinks
difference?
That's worth that? Look, I don't hate Tucker, right? Don't hate him. I'd sign the shit out of that contract. You couldn't take it away from me, okay? I'm just saying, Kyle Tucker's, I'm not saying he's a bad player. He's a very, very good player. And he's not Ronald.
So what's the difference? What's the difference in signing Ohtani for $70 million a year for 10 years, or just signing him to a 1-year deal for $700 million?
Because he's not worth $700 million. Jeb,
he signed a contract for $700 million.
Think of this as your salary, buddy. Just because.
Yes.
All right. You're not going to make what you make your entire life in one fucking year. Because you're not worth that in 1 year.
Arguably Ohtani is.
Ohtani's a unicorn. I'm just saying. But I don't think anybody in the right mind would pay Shohei $700 million. You go bankrupt in a minute. Okay? But all I'm saying is Kyle Tucker, I was having a hard time saying 40. I was thinking 30, 35 for Kyle Tucker. 60? So you're doubling? Or almost doubling?
Yeah, but they're halving the years that they would have signed him to.
I get it. It's
Tucker, the same thing, kind of.
I don't know, man. I don't think so. Because I think Kyle Tucker would have gotten only a little bit more money on a longer-term contract, man.
It depends on what you value, too. Do you value years more, or do you value dollars more? Some players, they've... Okay.
Dollars. That's why he took it. He valued the dollars more. I don't know, man. $60 million for Kyle Tucker. $60 million? I don't know, man. That's overkill.
They're fucked. And Jose, I know we keep... No. Oh, fuck. No, I was thinking about Bo. Never mind.
No, we'll get into Bo in a second. I'm just saying, Jesus. Yeah. Maybe the Mets trade for one of the Dodgers' 500,000 outfielders that they have over there. Who fucking knows?
Jose keeps trying to jump in, and we just keep cutting him off. Jose,
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
My bad. Go ahead, dude. My bad.
It's all good. So, Kyle Tucker, $60 million a year. Do I think Kyle Tucker is worth $60 million a year? I don't think he's worth $60 million a year, especially when you consider Ohtani's a two-way player. He's making only, in air quotes, $10 million more. However, the other side that I think about as well is the money's there and the money's going to be made regardless. I'd rather the player get the money than the owner.
Yep.
So
I'm fine with that.
That's another way that I think about it. The Dodgers, obviously, their pocket is endless.
Clearly.
They have, unlimited money. So someone's going to make the money, and I'm glad the player is not the owner. That's how I choose to think about it for my own mental sanity. Because when I think that I'm never going to make $60 million in my entire life, it makes me a little bit depressed. So we'll just leave it at that. Now, when we talk about Bo Bichette,
That was
How much
flat
that
out
contract
fucking
again?
stupid.
42
42
for
million a
3
year.
years. Now 42 per year for 3 years for a guy who doesn't own a fucking glove.
Where are they gonna put him?
Third.
Third?
You can't
Third.
put that motherfucker in the middle. That dude
Third.
sucks.
It would be one thing if he were a Gold Glover as well, because his bat is fantastic. If he were a Gold Glover, I could see 42, especially for a short 3-year deal, given how these contracts are going.
Sure.
However, Bo Bichette might actually not own a glove. So, I feel like the Mets lost out on Kyle Tucker,
That.
and then they
Pivoted.
basically pivoted and made a move just to make a move. Because at
That.
this point, good God, if you're the Mets, you're scared right now.
Yeah.
So, that's my thoughts on both of those contracts.
I think the Mets are fucked. And
Yeah,
obviously,
no doubt.
I mean, I'm talking organizationally, because obviously they have Steve Cohen, they have the big pocketbook, but they will never be on the Dodgers level. They
That's
are a
crazy
team.
to think about, by the way. That's crazy to think about.
They're going to have to blow it up at some point, because they are going to realize that they're not going to be able to sustain having that big of a payroll with aging players and losing and not getting their first draft pick until like the 18th round.
Yep.
So
I'm with you.
I mean, even the Dodgers, like, they don't really produce.
The Dodgers don't produce what?
They don't really produce like, sorry, my fucking mic is fucking up. The Dodgers don't really produce like studs, you could say, like Will Smith, Andy Pages, like.
Well, you got
Look at the guys they've traded away. Like Gavin Lux was a top 10 perennial,
You're very valid in that.
a top 10 prospect. Who's the catcher that went to Minnesota that they DFA'd and he was like in the top 20 or 30. Like they don't develop per se, but they build around the guys that they have developed, and they can use those guys like as depth. Like Dalton Rushing would probably be a starting catcher on a lot of different clubs, and he's a depth piece.
They do a really good job of getting high
The most
players
out of- yes,
in their minor
yes.
leagues and shipping them for pieces that they need,
Yes.
along with buying the entire free agent market. Because when you can offer a Kyle Tucker $60 million and you just don't even blink a fucking eye, that's a different level of money. Getting back to the Mets, we have lost out and fucked around this offseason on every single aspect and angle that we have looked at, and now we're just going to Bo Bichette because we don't know where else to go. So here's $42 million for 3 years. Come be our third baseman.
I imagine Framber will be there before long.
Keep in mind, they don't have an outfield. They don't have an outfield. They really don't have a true first baseman. And look, I get Bo Bichette's numbers offensively are well above average, okay? I have my doubts that he's going to sustain it. I do like it for New York that it's a 3-year contract, because I think after 3 years, that's the max I would want him, and he's going to go downhill pretty quickly. But does he make up for Pete Alonso? I don't think so.
Not in the power department.
I don't think so at all, period. I don't think it helps them at all, because you lost Nemo, who had a better walk rate, probably about the same OPS, right? Roughly. And you lost Alonso on top of that. You traded McNeil away for Marcus Semien. So offensively, you've gotten way worse. And then you bring in the singular worst defender in Bo Bichette. And you were like, well, we traded Brandon Nimmo to get better at defense. And you go sign Bo Bichette. Like, what is your fucking direction here?
And you're trotting Juan Soto out in right field.
Who should
And
be
Jorge
your first
and
baseman?
Jorge Polanco, who has like never touched a first baseman's mitt, is your first baseman.
Like, what is your direction? Like, what the fuck are y'all doing? Like, if I'm a Mets fan, there's no way I'm going into this season thinking we're going to even make the postseason. There's no way. Your pitching rotation is not great. Your bullpen's ass. Yes, you made some additions. You lost the best closer, arguably, in baseball, in Edwin Diaz. That's gonna hurt. You lost Pete Alonso, one of the at least top 10 first baseman. I'd say top 5 probably, especially after this year. You lost him. You traded away one of your best hitters all around, and Brandon Nimmo gone. And what'd you get back? Marcus Semien and Bo Bichette. And a couple bullpen pieces.
Me personally, I enjoy those moves, Mets. Go Mets. You
Absolutely.
Keep doing you, honey. And I love it as a Braves fan. Now, the Phillies, if you could follow in those footsteps, that would be fantastic.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I was really hoping for Philly to sign Bo to that 8-year contract. I was really praying for that.
I will say this. Ranger Suarez, who eats the Braves for lunch and dinner, is out of the Phillies, and I will take that as a win.
That's another thing. What are they going to do to fill that rotation? I guess Painter, right?
I mean, they've got Nola, Wheeler, but you don't know what you're going to get from Wheeler. You don't know what you're going to get from Nola. They've got Luzardo. They've got Christopher Sanchez. And they've got, I guess, Painter. I guess. I mean, that's still, like, if the dominoes fall correctly, that's still a top 5 rotation of baseball.
Is it?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Zach Wheeler, Christopher Sanchez. If Aaron Nola bounces back to a 3 or a 4 like he is,
better rotation than that.
I mean, I would match it up with that.
No, the Yankees have a deeper rotation than that. You got Cole and Fried 1-2, and then you got Rodon right after that, and then the kid Schlittler. The Red Sox have a deeper rotation. The Braves have a deeper rotation. Phillies don't make top 5. Dodgers have a deeper rotation.
So that's 4. Who are you
The
putting
Mariners
at 5?
have
Oh,
a deeper
Mariners.
Rotation.
Okay,
You could argue
okay.
The Blue Jays have a better rotation. The Phillies
Okay.
may be top 10, but they are
Yeah.
not top 5.
Okay. Calm down. I'm seeing what you're putting down.
Thank you.
But, like, in the playoffs, I guess, like, that rotation would scare me. That would scare me.
Yeah.
If Zach Wheeler, if you have Zach
Yeah.
Wheeler come back and you have Christopher Sanchez, that scares me because potentially you're down 2-0. Especially if you're at the bank.
Shit. Chris Sanchez is legit, but you don't look. I'm not rooting against Zach Wheeler. I don't want players getting injured and a career ending. Okay, I hope he comes back and he's a dog. I don't think Nola's gonna be that dog.
No.
I think those years are behind him. I think he's gonna be at best a solid number
A 4.
3. At best a 3.
Yeah.
Dude, Philly's on the bad end of their years. That's all I'm going to say. You don't have a whole lot coming up in the farm system. You got aging superstars, and I really wish you would have added another one at Bo Bichette, because that would just fit your infinity stones of fucking up perfectly if you added Bo Bichette.
You may want to revoke my Braves card, and that's fine. But I really hope Zach Wheeler comes back healthy, because when he's not pitching against the Braves, like, I really enjoy watching him pitch.
He's fun to watch pitch. I'm not gonna revoke your Braves card for that. I just hope he shits the bed every time he faces the Braves.
Yep.
As a fan of the game, man, like, you always want to have those high competition games, even if it doesn't go your way. That's just always fun baseball to watch. So,
Philly's also got JT Realmuto back.
that's kind of whatever.
Probably his swan song, if I had to imagine.
For 3 years?
Yeah. I think he's, 34?
Yeah, he'd be 37.
Yeah.
He didn't have a market worth a fuck anyway. He was going to go back to Philly because they're the only one who needed a catcher.
Yep. I've got nothing else, really. Like, rate, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. We really appreciate it. Enjoy you guys listening. Hope you enjoyed it. Unless you guys have anything.
I hope everybody who listens and everybody who doesn't listen to this pod, I hope you have the same day that Kyle Tucker had today signing that contract.
Yeah.
I hope I have that day someday, man. Woo!
Yeah.
Buddy, I just hope I have that amount of money over my entire life.
I agree with you. I'm there with you, Jose. Let me experience that for a minute.
No, other than that, I don't got anything for you guys. To all of you listening out there, definitely appreciate you listening. This was a really fun podcast to be a part of, and hope you guys enjoyed listening to it as much as we had fun recording it. Definitely want to put out a product that's for the fans, you know, from a fan's perspective. So, thank you guys.
For the fans, by the fans, baby.
We are going to be at Braves Fest, chat. So
Yes.
come find us.
Yes, we will be at Braves Fest. We can talk a little bit more about that. Oh, the other guest confirmed. I won't talk about it though, but you'll have to tune back in.
It's the one that you already gave up, bro.
Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I don't know. I don't think I gave this one up. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. All right. We'll catch you in the next one.
We don't want Sunday, right?
Peace.